What if Chevrolet campaigned the Camaro for Gymkhana instead of the Ford Mustang? What's up everybody, I'm Khyzyl Salim. So today we're going to be looking at a 69 Camaro. So the 69 Camaro is one of my favorite cars. You know, you look at one and you almost immediately know what you're looking at. And it's quite a fun project because I don't know if many people know, but I had a hand in creating the Hooner truck. But what I would also really like to do is to take inspiration from the old IMSA races. And you don't see a lot of them modified, which I think all the better to render one and do something kind of wild and kind of crazy. So yeah, let's get into the build. I guess first things first, we want to remind ourselves as to what a 69 Camaro looks like. So the 69 Camaro is one of my favorite cars. You know, you look at one and you almost immediately know what you're looking at. And you don't see a lot of them modified, which I think all the better to render one and do something kind of wild and kind of crazy. And it's something I've always wanted to do as well. It's like a what if scenario. What if Ken Block, for example, instead of running with Ford, he ran with Chevrolet, and they used the Camaro as the base for the Hoonicorn instead of a Mustang. Let's open PureRef to begin with, and let's create a bit of a mood board and a bit of, you know, get a bit of inspiration going so we can see the kind of direction that we want to head in. All right, and then I guess let's get some images of the Hoonicorn. I don't want to replicate this, I want to do my own interpretation of it, but it's always nice to kind of have a decent starting point. And it's quite a fun project because I don't know if many people know, but I had a hand in creating the Hooner truck. For me personally, I've always been the kind of person that will have a very clear idea of what I want to do in my head, and then it's just a case of getting that out. But what I would also really like to do, because this is an old Camaro, is to take inspiration from the old IMSA races and 80s, 90s era styling wide bodies. So there's two different levels to this of crazy. It's the believable and buildable crazy, or it's just the pure obscene, why did you do that, don't do it at all kind of level crazy. So I want to get back to my reference scene for a moment because there's a few cars that I remembered that I really want to add to this. One of those being Riley Stairs Trans Am. Now I saw this car at SEMA back in 2019, I think it was, and it blew my mind, kind of the level of detail that he went into on this build. And it was a real throwback, and I think it worked perfectly for this type of car. So I'll kind of get started, create some rough shapes. But before that, I also need to get a model. 69 Camaro. I just went with this one here, not too bad. Decent. Right, I think let's just get started. First things first, I want to load in all my materials, so I tend to just make the car entirely black, and then I will kind of add the glass, chrome detail, paint, just to kind of simply block in the car. It always helps me visualize what I want the car to look like in a simple manner. Okay, so just a little update. I've got, you know, blocked out kind of front fender, front bumper, front splitter, rear fender shape as well. Got spoiler in there and rear diffuser, and I think it's looking pretty cool so far. So this is something I do quite often. Halfway through, I will kind of load a HDRI so that I can project light onto the car. That way I get reflections on the body, the fenders, see how everything flows, and it gives me a good indication of where I'm at. So I just want to make sure that the reflection kind of aligns, and you can see in this area here, it's not really aligning that well. So it'll just be a case of moving the polys around. And then next, it'll just be a case of strengthening a lot of the existing shapes that we have here. So I tend to do that by adding in edge loops. Yeah, this is why I enjoy kind of changing things as I go along, because if I have a clear idea set out in my head to begin with, the end product is quite a lot different typically. So I think next I'll carry on building out details on the front fender here, add in a vent to this front section, maybe add in space for the lights, because I think they're quite a nice defining feature of the 69 Camaro, so I'd quite like to keep them. I think during the process of creating this, I couldn't really figure out what front bumper style I really wanted to go for. You'll notice as well, when I'm designing, I tend to just copy the whole front end of the part that I'm modeling, and then I'll change it, make the changes, and then just switch it back in, just so I can see which looks better. Good kind of point to start adding details now. So I think the car is pretty much complete now. It's come a long way from the start. It's pretty wild. I mean, you guys, you're gonna have to let me know what you think below. But yeah, like, I can spend a lot of time on this. And this is why I want to render every car slammed to the ground, just because it just visually, it looks cool. It may not be functional, but it looks cool. Thank you very much for watching. Please give a like and subscribe if you wish to. Hit that little bell notification, and I'll see you for the next one. Now, the next one is something a little bit closer to home, so I'm quite excited to share that with you, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it.